You know that feeling, right? That nagging sense that life is just flying by, that there's never, ever enough time for the things you really want to do. Well, it turns out people have felt that way for thousands of years. But what if the whole problem isn't that life's too short, but that we're just really, really bad at living it? Let's dive into some ancient wisdom that feels like it was written for us today. I mean, this complaint is ancient. We're talking over 2,000 years old. Even Hippocrates, the most famous doctor in ancient Greece, felt it, and we all feel it. It just seems like a basic fact of being human, doesn't it? We get this tiny sliver of time, and it's gone before we even figure out what we're supposed to be doing with it. So, what if that's completely backwards? That's the exact question the Roman Stoic philosopher Seneca asked almost 2,000 years ago. He looked at this universal complaint, this idea that life is short, and he came back with a radical, almost shocking counterargument. He basically said the problem isn't your lifespan, it's your lifestyle. And this gets us to the absolute core of Seneca's thinking. It's an idea that totally reframes how we should think about time itself. He argues it's not about getting more time, it's about wasting less of the time you already have. And there it is. This one sentence is the heart of his entire essay. He just flips the whole problem on its head. The real issue isn't that we have a scarcity of time, it's that we have a profound mismanagement of it. It really makes you ask yourself, are you a victim of a short life, or are you the architect of a wasted one? So you can see the two perspectives side by side here. On the one hand, you have the common belief, we're handed this meager portion of time and that's that. But Seneca's rebuttal, nope, we're given a generous amount, but we squander it. We actively make our own lives feel short through our own foolishness. Seneca wants us to think about our time kind of like money. A giant fortune, he says, can be blown in a heartbeat by a bad owner. But even a small amount of money can grow and grow if you put it in the hands of a good manager. Our time is exactly the same. Life, he argues, is more than long enough for our greatest ambitions if every moment is invested wisely. So, okay, if we're wasting our lives, how exactly are we doing it? Well, Seneca had a specific diagnosis for this condition, and he even gave a name to the people who suffer from it. He called them the preoccupied. For Seneca, being preoccupied means your mind is constantly being pulled away from what actually matters. It gets sucked into trivial tasks, anxieties, and what other people want from you. And when that happens, the act of living itself becomes the last thing on your to-do list. You might be busy, sure, but you're not actually living. And just listen to these symptoms. Do any of them sound familiar? Dedicating yourself to useless busy work, trying to impress powerful people, obsessing over money, constantly changing your plan so you never get anywhere, even getting into pointless arguments. These are the time thieves Seneca saw everywhere, and they're just as real today, maybe even more so. And this leads to this really weird paradox in how we live. Think about it. We're afraid of mortal things, like getting sick or losing money, and we act cautiously. But when it comes to our desires, the things we really want to do with our lives, we act like we're immortal. We waste our days as if we have an infinite supply just waiting for us. Okay, so that's the diagnosis. It's a little grim, right? But Seneca wasn't just interested in pointing out the problem. He offered a cure. A practical, step-by-step way to reclaim our time and, finally start living. The very first step is a radical shift in your thinking. We are so careful with our money and our property, right? But when it comes to our time, we let pretty much anyone take it from us. Seneca argues that time is the only thing we should be stingy with. We have to guard it like a fortress, because unlike money, once it's gone, you can never get it back. Now, when Seneca says philosophy, don't picture some boring academic in a dusty library. For him, philosophy was the active practice of making time for deep thought, for self-reflection, for understanding your place in the universe. That's what it means to be truly at leisure, not being lazy, but being in complete control of your own mind and your own time. For Seneca, that is being alive. So how do you actually do this? Seneca's most brilliant idea is that we can literally lengthen our lives by talking with the great thinkers of the past. We can have conversations with Socrates, find tranquility with Epicurus, learn strength from Zeno. By studying them, we annex every age to our own, basically adding their lifetimes of wisdom onto ours. Ultimately, this practice of philosophy sets you free. It breaks you out of the prison of the present moment. You're no longer limited by your own short existence. Your life becomes a conversation across all of history, giving you access to this vast, shared human wisdom.
This all builds to Seneca's final urgent challenge. He doesn't just want you to nod along and think these are nice ideas, he wants you to take action right now.
And that's a direct command. It's an instruction. Seneca is asking us to stop whatever we're doing and conduct a full-blown accounting of our time. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. And he gets super specific. Think back. How much of your time has been stolen by a creditor, or a demanding boss, by a messy relationship, by pointless arguments, or by social events you didn't even want to go to? Be brutally honest, he says. Tally up the hours, the days, the years that you just gave away. And this is the really stark conclusion of that audit. When you truly account for all the time that's been lost to distraction and foolishness and other people's demands, you're forced to face a difficult realization. You haven't really been living. In a very real sense, you are dying long before your actual death. And this leaves us with Seneca's final, powerful plea. He says, the greatest obstacle to living is waiting for tomorrow, because waiting for tomorrow steals today. We make all these plans for a future that is totally out of our control, while we abandon the present, which is the only thing we actually have. So if the future is uncertain, what is the only logical course of action? Live immediately.